got to get to the jerk list.
Sorry.
All right.
But first, I want to bring up something before you get to that list because you talked
I'm
about.
not getting to the jerk list. I told you, you've been spinning your yarns on this show all the time.
Right.
All right, so I want to spin a yarn, but all right, go ahead.
First, let me ask, because you brought up Culp, this whole thing got started because of the superhero.
We lost Graves, too.
We lost
recently.
Peter Graves. Bob Culp, to me, was a big blow. And do you remember how he died? How he died this past week? He died because he was walking in the hills and he fell and hit his head. And if you read these obituaries...
He conked his head?
He conked his head and he got knocked cold. Kind of like William Holden. William Holden, who's this great actor in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and Network, all his movies, Sunset Boulevard. He was also an explorer. He went all over the world, Africa, safaris, yet a coffee table killed him. He was drunk one day in Santa Monica. He tripped a coffee table.
You're kidding me.
He knocked his head.
Wow.
And he died. He bled to death. The same thing happened to Culp. And if you read these obituaries about Culp...
I wouldn't take the hat off. That's not a good look
Even
for
with
you.
Graves... Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Slap your
I'm trying to help
fat
you.
face of yours.
Listen, we're here to
and what happened?
constructive
I was reading
criticism.
these obituaries, and it just made me sick because I don't think they did him justice. And then I started to think, what celebrities do I know really well? And what would their obituaries be? And I thought, oh my God, Dave Dameshek. What happened if we lost Dameshek? What if I wasn't around? And I started to think about your death, and I started to fantasize about your death, and it was actually quite funny. Then I went back to, wait a minute, what if we lost him? What if I don't get to see? Because they're not going to write an obituary about me. They're going to write one about you. You're clearly kind of, it's the Dave Dameshek show. Dave Dameshek Vanity Project, of course, starring David Feen. So I looked up your date of death. They have these tests, dateofdeath.com. They have these websites where you can see, you type in information, personal information about your life. Do you drink?
What is this?
Family
Is this a
history?
predictor of when you die?
And it is. And it predicts when you die.
Oh, really? It uses
does.
some sort of like...
It does. Well, you do like drinking history. Maybe I exaggerate a little bit. Your medical history, that kind of thing. How old are your parents? Blah, blah, blah. And so I went into it and I typed in all your information.
How long do I have?
And it gave me your date of death. You ready for this?
I guess so.
May 4th, 2023.
Oh, wow.
May 4th, 2023. You better act fat. And so then I decided, again in the fantasy, what would your obituary be? I took it upon myself to write.
I'm not going to get to 50.
I'm going to write your obituary, if that's all right with you. I wrote it, and I'm going to read it to you right now. Are you
guess
excited?
that's
Can I
nice.
read it?
I guess, yeah, that'll be terrific.
Okay, there's no music for this. Ready?
I'd like some sad music, actually. The world's just lost Dameshek.
I can't concentrate with the picture of Black Falcon on the monitor.
That's not Black Falcon. That's
Who is
Black
that?
Lightning. And by the way, see, you're referring to things that the audience can't see.
See, this is this. See,
That's
this
bad
is why an
form.
obituary is not going to be read about
That's
me. Written
bad
about.
form out of you. Black Falcon's red. He's a falcon. Does that look like a falcon to you?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. Can I go into this, please?
I'd like you to.
Ready for this? May 4th, 2023. Radio funny man William David Dameshek, best known for his work as one half of the podcast power duo Days of Thunder, died Saturday in a studio apartment home. He was 59. Police, upon finding a note next to the body...
59!
Police, upon finding a note next to the body reading, "See you in hell, Dennis Gibson," suspect suicide. Dameshek, or the Shek, as he preferred to be called by his fans, first came into the national consciousness as sidekick on the morning drive time hit, The Adam Carolla Show, alongside comedian and Hollywood Walk of Fame honoree Teresa Strasser. His public feud with Strasser in 2007 was surpassed only a decade later by their very public affair, wedding, and quickie loophole divorce. To this day, the 10-second rule, wherein if the marriage is consummated by the male in under 10 seconds, it doesn't count, has become a tentpole in California family law. The passing of Dameshek has left an indelible void in the lives of his family, friends, and former co-workers. Dama who? Questioned musician Richard Dick Banks, author of the book 100 Things I Do Alone and Stoned with My Guitar. Oh, Dameshek? That guy with a really round head? He owes me money. I didn't hate him, though. It was the same round head that fueled the Shek's 2018 comeback when he played Gary Grapefruit on the syndicated kids TV show Jacuzzi Pete and Friends. Gary Grapefruit's catchphrase, "Pink and delicious, and I'm nutritious," was a big hit with pre-adolescent viewers. "I love my young fans," the Shek once told the Santa Monica Daily Press. "I just love them, love them, love them." Dameshek's words proved prophetic when he was convicted on 2 felony counts of indecent exposure to a minor. His 3-year stretch at Pelican Bay State Prison, along with his man show sketch Porta Juggies, were arguably the low points of his career. Dameshek is survived by his wives, 11 children, and 2 ferrets, Chichu and Timu. In lieu of flowers, the family requests donations be made to his favorite charity, the Maria Lemieux Center for Transgendered Athletes in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Maria Lemieux. Now, I'm fine with all of it until the shot at 66.
He gets it!
Listen, you're a ridiculous ass. I hope you're happy with yourself. Is it fun to have a laugh at my expense?
It's not at your
Look,
expense.
Congratulations.
What it is,
Everybody
they're
behind
not
the
laughing.
glass is delighted by it. They're over the moon with that. Taking shots at Dameshek.
I particularly like the 10-second rule. That was my favorite.
That was your... That was
Yeah, it was Teresa Strasser.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
Do you still get along with her?
Of course. I'm going to be paying a visit to
Why don't you
her
tease that?
and Lynette Carollas because I'm not sure of the date exactly yet. I think
Is that
in
going to be
April.
weird? How long is it since you last?
We've had to move the date a couple of times. I think in April we'll come in.
When was the last time you saw her?
Last time I saw
Strasser.
Teresa?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, it would be. I don't think I've seen her since 2006.
I bring it up for only one reason. Arguably the Lex Luthor to your Superman.
I don't really see it that way. Do
Oh,
you?
absolutely. Your arch nemesis.
So in other
creator
words, you're
of
saying
a
I
load
am a
of
man of
destruction.
steel who's indestructible?
I think so.
All right.
In my eyes.
Right.
The kryptonite being, I don't know what.
And she's a middle-aged villain who's smart? Is that what the...
And I secretly suspect bald.
All right, well, listen. Fine work. All right, listen. We got to get to the jerk list quickly, though.
Yes, that's what
you've
people
been
want
you've been taking up way too much time.
With what?
With your stories, your lurid yarns about the ways you've taken advantage of women in here.
Taking advantage. I was taken advantage of. They made me do those things.
Well, many women in Hollywood have felt the touch of David Feeney.
They've all fallen to my hands.
In dirty, in dirty toilets, in front yards, and so on and so forth. In humiliating fashion,
I don't recall telling a front yard story.
You told. We'll get to that one. Yeah, well, I want to hear the front yard story. Let's say these are ones down the line. You told the story about how you role played a rape when she was running on a track at her request. That
wasn't my idea.
That was at her request. So
it doesn't go to what a coxman I am. It goes to what a pathetic boyfriend I am. I just
you were
roll over
willing
and
to
do whatever
that?
they tell me.
Yeah. But here's an
Those are all in
important
the past
story.
now, by the way, because I found the love of my life.
That's
Jennifer,
right.
my life, who you saw the other day.
That's right. Lovely lady. Yes, we
You
had
couldn't
a
have
few
been
belts.
rude. You couldn't have been ruder.
How
to
was
her.
I rude to her?
You didn't care at all about her. You didn't ask her one goddamn question.
That's
about her.
absolutely
It was
untrue.
all about Seven. It was all about this, that, the podcast. Have you heard the podcast?
I said, listen.
And then I don't want to get into it today, but then of course, conveniently, the bill comes, the check comes, you forget your wallet.
That's
Did you pay?
absolutely
Did you
not-
pay?
No, you insisted. You have to put on a show for your lady.
Oh,
What am I gonna
can I
do?
say really quick before, because I want to get to the thing. The best part about hanging out with you Thursday was peak. Well, first of all, Syracuse lost. You watched Syracuse play that.
That's right. And last time we did the show, I bit my tongue. I did not reveal to you that the Syracuse Orange had taken
So
care
what?
of Gonzaga. Well, I was
So
a good
what?
guy. I could have told you that. If I was a jerk, I would have told you that Syracuse won.
So you're supposed to be lauded for not being a jerk.
I'm just telling you that. Listen,
You're going to have a jerk list. You'll be on my jerk list in a second. The best thing about going to the we went to Barney's
No one will care.
to watch the thing.
Barney's Beanery, one of our favorite
Right,
drinking
to
holes.
watch the games, was that Pete Campbell from Mad Men was there. He was there, and he played that card where he came in with a sweatshirt over his head and the dark glasses so no one would recognize him, and then sat at the table and then kind of dramatically lifted the hood off and like, hello, I'm Pete Campbell, and then, people came over and they said hello to me. And before you got there, I was talking to Jennifer about that, and I said, isn't it great, though, that that people, that ridiculous ass stars act like that, and then Damashek comes in with a hat pulled down over his head and the sunglasses, comes into the Barney's Beanery, and then dramatically takes his hat off, takes the sunglasses off. Here I am, Dave Damashek, orders drinks, then doesn't pay for them.
Well, listen, what happened.
What a celebrity!
What happened, and then also there we were bookended by C-listers. Pete Campbell, great on the show.
Yeah.
Looked like a 14-year-old boy, first of all. Really looked like he shouldn't have been allowed in the
But
bar.
also frail, like you were
Yeah,
saying,
well,
maybe 130 pounds.
And then on the other side, anything but frail, Jerry, the big guy, the dope of the office in Parks and Recreation,
Yeah.
which I'm going to say it here and now, Parks and Recreation has surpassed The Office now.
Oh, by
In
far,
quality. It's a
especially
great
this year.
show.
Oh, by far,
Great
it's
show.
number one this year for me.
Yeah. Well,
Number two, Party
That's
Down,
another
the show on
show.
Stars. All right, that's another list.
Party
for
of
me.
Five?
Party Down.
A Party
The
Down.
show on
Party
Stars,
Down.
a
Right,
terrific
right.
show.
That's great. That's a good show. Yeah, a list of the funniest shows going on.
You were
TV.
talking about your sex story.
Aren't there's a renaissance of good sitcoms these days?
Now
right?
that I'm off network TV, for some reason comedies are good again.
And perhaps someday soon, Adam Carolla will have a sitcom on the air.
Yeah, I
All
got to
right.
talk to you about that.
Here's my story
That's
that
for
I'd
off
like to
camera.
share because it's an important message for everybody out there because it's spring break time right now. That's leading into summer, and everybody's going to be thinking about going to the ocean. But it's not enough. I know a lot of people, especially around these parts, like to work on their body and getting buff and looking good in their bikini or their Speedo or whatever to try and
Speedo. Okay.
Well, I don't know what you like to wear at the beach.
I don't go to the beach. I don't like it.
I haven't been to the beach with you in years.
Yeah.
I've
Since
been,
your kids. Another example of your kids ruining your life.
So
Your kids ruining our
I'll be
friendship.
going to the beach with my children. But listen, before I had children, here's the story. You're going to go there. It's important. The Atlantic, I spent my youth always taking the family drive. We would drive to the Atlantic. We'd go to Ocean City, Maryland, and Rehoboth Beach, and places like that. Every year was a wonderful annual trip. And as a child, the first thing, you get to the water. I got to get in can we go in? Can we go in? And, your mother, hey, we just ate, mate. You'd have to be reined in a little bit. But no, I can't be. I'm sprinting. First thing, I'm getting right into the water.
Sure.
As an adult, though, you have to learn a little bit of patience. But more importantly, you have to learn the Atlantic is great, but for my money, the Pacific, magical, medicinal qualities that I can't explain. They're beyond my grasp as a human being, a mere mortal.
The Atlantic doesn't have?
I don't know why, but for some reason
I
the
love
Pacific is colder than the Atlantic.
I love it.
When you go in the summertime. But after about 15 seconds in, the temperature of the sea melds with the temperature of your body. You go in. When I go to the Pacific these days, I go into the sea not just to wash off the day's soils, you understand, but all of society's ills. I emerge anew, baptized, that's what the Pacific does for me.